The nerdiest kid in school attends a reunion with a supermodel, shocking everyone. Little does everyone know the man actually built his wife in a lab. At a high school reunion, Julia and Marina gossip about their old classmates before welcoming them with fake smiles. Their tone changes when the well-dressed Oleg arrives. The women fawn over him until Julia notices Varna arriving. She embraces the awkward man but calls him by his unappealing nickname from their high school days. The new arrival tries to get inside the venue to get away, but the trio jokingly blocks him before letting him go. The reunion commences and a tipsy Sasha later joins Vanya asking about his life. Varna mentions that he's actually married to someone from their class who hasn't arrived yet. Just then the gorgeous Lena walks in, much to everyone's surprise, since she was their old schoolmate who became a supermodel in America. She then asks Sasha to move so she can sit with her husband. Confused, the drunk woman turns to Varna before giving his seat to Lena. The woman gives her husband a passionate kiss, leaving everyone dumbfounded. They can't believe that the man they used to treat badly is now married to a gorgeous supermodel. The night goes on and the former schoolmates watch the couple dance romantically. After their dance, Vanya excuses himself to use the restroom, so Oleg leads a group to speak to Lena. The man wonders why she'd fly all the way from America to attend a high school reunion, but Lena claims that she returned to Russia after marrying Varna. Oleg assumes that this is a prank, so the men laugh at this. However, the model speculates they're jealous of her husband for marrying someone they can only dream of while satisfying themselves. She even comments that Oleg's small business doesn't impress a woman as successful as her. Humiliated but unable to argue with the woman, the group later confronts Varna, accusing him of paying Lena to humiliate them. As payback, Sasha attempts to punch Varna, only for Lena to catch his fist. The woman pushes him against the window and knees his friend in the stomach before Oleg can react. Lena then slams her hand on his nose, knocking him out. Unbeknownst to the men, Varna had acquired the head of a discontinued AI robot project from the lab he worked in. He reprogrammed it so she could pretend to be his wife. During his reunion, complaining how after nearly 2 decades his former schoolmates still ridicule him over social media, Vanya suggested that the robot pretend to be Lena since she wouldn't likely attend the reunion. However, he needed to get her a robot body, and since their project had been suspended, he could return everything before anybody noticed it was gone. With this, Vanya eventually took the robot to his workshop where he had a mechanical body that he borrowed without permission. The body was from another discontinued robot project for companionships, but when Varna installed it, the robot started punching a wall and throwing a knife. Shocked, the man checked the machine and realized that he had accidentally taken the military model. This meant that he unintentionally stole government property, so he could be charged with treason. With the reunion happening the following day, he didn't have time to return the body yet, so they got ready instead. In the present, Varna worries that Lena might get them in trouble for harming his old schoolmates, so they hurriedly leave the venue. On their way, an officer checks in on the couple and asks for some IDs. Lena doesn't have one, so the officer assumes that she's a lady of the night and invites her to the police station. The robot responds by punching him and knocks out his partner in his car. Varna berates her for harming the cops, but she insists that all cops are horrible, at least according to the internet. Frustrated, the engineer realizes that walking together this late might attract more unwanted attention, so he takes Lena back to his apartment, which is closer than his workshop. There he gets ready for bed, but Lena asks what she should do while he's asleep. Varna smiles sheepishly as he thinks of something, but she points out that she weighs 250 kilograms and might break his bed. Vanya suggests she can just clean, though he doubts he can sleep given how the evening went. The robot offers to help and he lights up as she moves to embrace him. Instead, she places him on a sleeper hold, knocking him out. By morning, Vanya is surprised to find his apartment clean. However, he needs to return the robot before anyone notices, so the two prepare to leave, only for the man's parents to arrive for a visit. Quickly, Lena introduces herself as their son's wife, which surprises his mother while his father smiles. The four enjoy an awkward lunch at a restaurant. Later on, though, the mom notices she isn't eating. The robot reveals that she has no stomach, and Varna clarifies that she's on a diet before taking his wife away to talk. In the bathroom, the man urges their woman to ignore some of the things she's told or asked. He also scolds her for telling his parents that they're married, and Lena contests that he programmed her to be his wife. Just then another customer enters, so the robot shoves him into one of the cubicles, knocking him out. Vanya panics while the robot justifies that her military protocol causes her to act immediately upon detecting threats. Getting back to their issue, the man decides that he can't return Lena to the laboratory until he convinces his parents that they've somehow broken up. To buy time, he needs to erase all the data of Lena's programming from the company's lab so she can't be tracked back to him. With this, he tells the robot to entertain his parents while he heads back to the lab. Later on, Lena gives his parents a ride, claiming that her husband needs to go to work. Meanwhile, the man takes a cab to work but finds the lab is crawling with security. The company's head of security, Nestor, tells him that they found evidence of a break-in and the prototype for their combat robot is missing. Nervously, Vanya suggests that the robot might have run away on her own. Also, they were testing different programs recently and one of them could have accidentally activated her system. Nestor asks the employee why he keeps referring to the robot as her, and the engineer quickly lies that they refer to the robots as females, so he's gotten used to it. Elsewhere, the sentient machine walks to the park with Vanna's parents nearby. A man snatches another woman's bag, but Lena grabs the bag from him, making the thief fall. He tries stabbing her and the robot headbutts him, knocking him out. Shocked, the parents check on her and realize that the thief's knife had bent when he tried to stab her, so Lena lies that her rock-hard abs saved her. Meanwhile, Nestor orders Vanya to pull up their control system to stall. The engineer spots a janitor passing by and insists that he doesn't work there, prompting the others to run after him. Now alone, the man initiates the data wipe to delete his programming history on Lena. The officers soon bring in the janitor just in time for the data wipe to be completed. Vanya turns back and apologizes for the mistake, claiming that he didn't recognize the janitor from afar. Nestor then orders him to insert his thumb drive into his computer since it contains a security key to give him full access. The man nervously does as he's told, triggering a location tracker on the robot. Fearing that Lena will be found, Vanna calls her and warns her that she's being tracked since she can't deactivate the tracker. They later meet up at a parking lot. The nerd uses a scanner to determine where the device is so he can remove it. However, another man passes by, so the robot pretends to be satisfied to avoid suspicions. The passerby awkwardly moves on and Vanna wonders if the scanner somehow pleases her, only to learn that she was just pretending. Disappointed, he checks her head and confirms that the tracker is there. With this, they head to buy some tools, but the man doesn't have enough money to pay. Lena offers to do something to the clerk as compensation and he asks her to let him take a video of her kitty area. To Vanna's surprise, she agrees but pretends to be a cat instead, having misunderstood what the man wanted. The clerk complains about her strange behavior, so the robot pushes him. The two then hide in a bathroom cubicle so the engineer can remove the tracker. As he does, Lena asks what love is, given that she's supposed to pretend to be his lover. She knows from the internet that it's when a person has a deep attachment to something, but she insists that food and water should be more important than any one person. Vanna asserts that sometimes that's not the case. With this, the robot asks if he truly loves the real Lena, but he refuses to answer. The man proceeds to remove the tracker, but a woman passes by their cubicle and overhears their conversation, mistaking their interaction as an intimate exchange. She reports the incident to the guard, but he's more interested in seeing what's going on than stopping it, so he crouches down to peek inside after flushing the tracker down the toilet. The two exit the cubicle, surprising the guard. Our nerd attracted the gorgeous lady, and so he quietly asks Vanna for advice about women, but he just ignores him as he heads out. Nestor and his group spot him, so he lies that he also tried tracking down the robot. Suspicious, the guards decide to apprehend him, but Lena proceeds to beat up the men to save him. Given her fighting skills, Nestor figures out that she's the robot just before Lena knocks him out. The two run away, though Lena decides to buy better clothes for combat. Along the way, driving off the parking lot, they get blocked by a police car. The thinking machine offers to deal with it, but her companion insists that she can't be like the android in Terminator 2. Hearing this, Lena quickly downloads the movie to understand his point. Before exiting the car, she confronts the cops and redirects their bullets to their knees, then shoves their vehicle away, preventing them from chasing them. Vanna complains that she shot the cops, though Lena protests that he didn't specify that she can't use guns. The two proceed agreed to drive off, and during this Vanya thanks Lena for saving him. She argues that it's in her programming to stay with him. When the man complains about her robotic responses, she lies that she saved him because she loves him, frustrating him further. They later hide in an empty street where Vanya eats. Though he feels awkward that she's just watching him, he asks her to act more naturally, so Lena assumes a more laid-back persona. The man worries that he's now wanted by the police, which would scare his parents. As he considers surrendering, he suddenly recalls Nito saying that they found evidence of a break-in, making him wonder if someone else attempted to steal Lena's body last night. With this, Vanya plans to talk to the head of the lab, whom he trusts. They can't call the man since his lines might be monitored, and they need a new car since Nesterov probably has the police looking for his vehicle. To get to Pavel they need money, and Lena suggests a way. She takes Vanya to an underground wrestling match that she found on an online forum. Since they don't have money to place bets, Lena agrees to fight the champion, and if she loses they need to satisfy the organizer's desires. Vanya complains that Lena offered her body, but she reveals the organizer likes men, so he would actually have to go out with him instead. This makes the engineer more nervous, so he begs the robot not to lose. The battle begins, and despite the crowd doubting Lena would last, she easily takes down her opponent, winning in under 1 minute. This earns them a lot of money, though she returns the cash as payment for the organizer to help them get fake documents and a new car. Soon enough, the two arrive at Pavel's house. The man is shocked that his colleague managed to activate the combat robot, though Vanya insists that he didn't break into the lab to do so since he planned to return the robot the next day. He begs Pavel to convince the company's head of security to just let him return the robot, but the man reveals that Nestor thinks there's a spy among them. There's been speculation that another intelligence agency was aiming to steal the robot, only for Vanya to get to her first. His superior also comments that none of them thought the combat robot was ready to be activated, and Lena gives credit to Vanya's programming that allowed her to function. Surprised, Pavel wonders why he took the robot in the first place, and the bot reveals that she had to pretend to be his wife. This story frustrates him, but he sees that his colleague has no ill intentions, so he agrees to help him out. In the meantime, he advises the pair to hide. With this, Vanya and Lena drive to another location but get detected by the police. This begins a high-speed car chase with the robot taking the wheel. However, they encounter a roadblock, so the robot exits the car to fight the police. To her surprise, Nesterov's men arrive and shoot her with an electromagnetism that stuns her. This allows them to subdue her using an electric net. The two are apprehended, but instead of the lab, Nito takes them to a plane hangar. As the men prepare something, Vanya checks on Lena. The robot reminds him that she's a machine, so he shouldn't worry about her. However, the man is convinced that she's more human, given that she's shown compassion for him in her own odd way. Suddenly, Nito guns down his men and hands Vanya his firearm, planning to frame him for what happened and for destroying the robot. To create fake evidence, he installs a bomb in another car, assuming the investigators will figure out that the mechanical parts are from the car. Nestor would have been long gone. This has Vanya realizing that the lead security was there, one who tried to steal the robot. Just then, one of the fallen men survived long enough to shoot the attacker. Seeing this, Lena orders Vanya to escape, so he runs. Given his wound, Nestor decides to abandon him and just drive off with Lena. After seeing them drive away, the nerd returns to the hangar to find the keys to unlock his handcuff. He also picks up a gun and a cell phone from one of the lifeless men and escapes before the bomb blows up. Vanya recovers at a diner where he uses the phone to call for help. However, he can't trust anyone to find Lena yet, so he uses the Fight Club forum that she previously logged into and posts there to chat with her. The robot responds and tells him that Nestor is taking her to a helipad in Moscow, so he rushes there. While he's still on the way, Lena messages him telling him to call the cops instead. Vanya argues that police will arrest him first, and by the time they listen to him she'd already be gone. She reminds him that it doesn't matter since she's an object, which Vanya disagrees with. Soon a wounded Nestor delivers Lena to his client, who pays him with fresh documents to live a wealthy life in the States. Just then Vanya arrives with a gun, but instead of shooting people he destroys the battery on Lena's net, freeing her. The robot easily fights off the men, including her captor and his client. Victorious, Vanya moves to kiss Lena, who barely reacts. Still, she acknowledges that he risked his life for her, so she's important to him as if he loved her. Later on, Pavel confronts the two, surprised that they uncovered the spy and captured him and his client, given what they've done to save their project. project and possibly the country. He offers them a reward quickly. Vanya asks to keep working on Lena's programming, arguing that they've become friends. Although he's suspicious of this arrangement, the superior still agrees to the terms. However, the nerd also asks his boss to let him take the robot out for one more day. They use this chance to clarify to Ivana's parents that Lena isn't his wife but only a friend. This has his mother feeling guilty, thinking that she's been pushing her son to get married too much. Later, the robot discourages him from convincing her to sleep with him. Instead, he can order her to do so since she's a machine. Though Vana doesn't want to do this, Lena then highlights Vana's positive traits, promising him that human women would fall for him soon enough. She even wonders about contacting the real Lena to see if she'd go out with him. The shy man tells her not to, and the robot teases him about it before getting in the car with Vana to drive off into the sunset.